What's going on, Empire Sports Media family? Matt Giannettino here, the new guy. We're going to do some offensive line breakdowns here on my channel, the Call Him Hog Molly offensive line analysis channel here through Empire Sports Media. Today, we're going to be breaking down New York Giants third-round pick, 99 overall in the draft, Matt Peart out of UConn. Really exciting prospect. Offensive tackle, standing 6'7", about 320 pounds. A lot to like here. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown about my philosophy, how I scout offensive line, a little bit of background on how I got into offensive line and scouting. So, a little bit about me. I played offensive line at SUNY Cortland. I was an offensive tackle there. Unfortunately, hurt my knee, and I ended up transferring. But it was a great experience playing college, and I've been able to get into the coaching world now. I coach at St. John the Baptist, where I went to high school, and the offensive line coach there, along with a couple other titles. But I love coaching offensive line. I love scouting it. I actually started breaking down film a few years ago with Rick Saratella at NFL Draft Bible. That was super exciting. Got to attend some combines with him, pro days rather, and that was a blast. So excited to get that experience. Just some of my background in coaching philosophies and mentors. Kyle Flood, the offensive line coach at Alabama, who was the head coach at Rutgers for years. My offensive line coach in high school was a disciple of his, so a lot of things that he's preaching to those guys is what I'm preaching to my guys and what I look for in offensive linemen. And Paul Alexander, who was the offensive line coach for the Cincinnati Bengals for a long time, and then the Dallas Cowboys for a few years in Dallas. So he's coached the likes of Andrew Whitworth, Clint Bowling, Kevin Zeitler, who is a New York Giant, as we know, Lyle Collins, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin. So all no-joke guys. So again, a little bit of my philosophy is combining those two guys, Kyle Flood and Paul Alexander, and making it my own. So a couple things I like to look at. First, mind. Second, feet. Third, hands. Fourth, hips. So in that order. So when we're looking at an offensive lineman, especially today, breaking down Matt Peart, we want to see where's his mind, what's his responsibility, then followed by the feet, the hands, and then rolling the hips, exploding, and being an athlete and being an offensive lineman. Again, Matt Peart he's a developmental starter at the NFL level. For a big man, he's got a lot, of great things. His movement skills are nice. He's long, again, which is really nice. And his transition will be good because he has good feet. So if he can just, bring a little bit more power to his game and just add to his frame, that's super exciting. But he's again, just very versatile guy. I could definitely see him as a traditional left tackle, although Andrew Thomas is there for the Giants. But you never know, right? You look at Lane Johnson on the Philadelphia Eagles. He's their right tackle. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have the best guy there. So there's been some really good right tackles in the NFL, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. So when we're breaking down Matt Peart, we're going to break down actually his worst film here, which is the UCF film. 2019 UCF film. Again, pretty good level of competition here. I chose to do his worst game, that a lot of scouts considered his worst game, because of the fact that, hey, I want to look at a guy when he's at his worst and see still how good he is at considerably his worst game. I didn't really want to watch him at Wagner. I felt no real drive to do so. That's, to me, there's not going to be many players from Wagner in the NFL. So I'd rather look at what's he going to do against some good competition and arguably one of his rougher games. Okay, so Matt Peart is the right tackle here. We're going to play it in slow-mo first. That way we can really break this down, and then I'll run through the play again, and we'll go from there. So Matt Peart is on the backside here. He does a good job, sift technique. Don't let the guy get inside you, just kind of pass setting him. He did a good job for what he had to do there. Next play coming up. Matt Peart we're going to do a zone left here, okay? You notice here, he really doesn't get to his block, okay, on the will linebacker. He really takes his path to the guy rather than to a spot where the linebacker is going to be. So now he's caught chasing from behind. and this linebacker could come up and be part of the gang tackle here. So that's a pretty poor job on his own blocking scheme by Matt Peart, taking the wrong track rather than actually, he went to block the guy rather than the area. So next up here, we have a little bit of a pass set, okay, where we're going to see a bit of a stunt. Okay, the running back is more than likely trying to account for the defensive end. And then Matt Peart and the guard and center, those three guys on the right-hand side there are really just responsible for the two. Okay, but the stunt, he gets a little confused. He lunges there, okay, at the guy who's the penetrator rather than the twister, okay? And now he's caught chasing, and then he kind of gives up on the play here. And now 22 is chasing down the quarterback, ultimately leads to some pressure and an interception here, okay? So that's something to look out for. But Matt Peart is recognizing those stunts, especially at the NFL level, okay? Here it is again. Not great, all right? That leads to the interception. All right, next up, Matt Peart. Nice job, good hand placement, running his feet, rolls his hips nice there. Really good job of digging that defensive end out on that zone blocking scheme to the right-handed side. Really like what I saw out of that. If we run it back, we'll see here his steps. Okay, nice, good aiming point, nice hands inside, runs them. Now just put that head back and roll the hips a little bit more just to get a little bit more of the power, but that's still a good job, and that's a really good job. And also, one thing with Matt Peart is he struggles with getting low a little bit because of his height, so that's something I think he needs to get work on, is sometimes his pad level is a little too high. So that's one thing on that last run play that I would work on with Matt Peart at the next level. Here we go. Next play, we got the H-back to the left. Matt Peart again, right tackle. We're watching this play here. He's coming in motion. Matt Peart just going to come down. Nice double team. Very good job. So that's really good recognition, keeping his eyes up the field on the double team. Move the defensive lineman at the first level, okay? And then he gets his eyes up to the linebacker, and his running back's able to make a cut. So very good job there. Again, coming down, double team. Very nice job. He does a really good job on the double team, guys. I really like that. Really important job, especially in the NFL. Okay, getting double teams. Nice. He gets low here, digs the guy out on his hip. Very good. Okay, and then he goes right, walks him right back into the linebacker. Very good job. Like that. Obviously, the play broke down, but that's not his fault. Okay? All right, let's run this through here. All right, so you see it again. Nice job by Peart on the double team. Okay, we see Matt Peart here, passing off the DN, giving a hand, going to that linebacker, sinking his hips. Now keep driving the feet, though. He's shuffling here. Okay, so that's important. All right, we'll run this back. Okay, he does a good job, giving a hand to the DN. Now he comes up, sinks the hips, nice, but now run the feet, right? Run the feet on contact. Okay, he does a good job kind of shuffling, staying with him, but we don't want that. We want him running the feet, driving, and putting that guy in the dirt, all right? We want a nasty offensive lineman, okay? Good job here, reaching the guy, sustaining the block. See how he drives the feet there that time? He's going to probably get called for the hold here, but I kind of like it, and I'll tell you why, okay? We're going to stop it here. I will run it back, and we'll do this again from scratch. Here we go. Ready? So he's here, okay? He takes a nice path, okay? Very nice path. Running his feet, gets his hands nice and inside. Now, if he resets his hips, see how he's high here, guys? Okay, you see how he's a little high and he kind of gets caught up. Now the guy gets inside leverage on him. Okay, this play is obviously broke down in the backfield, but it's a nice job of sticking with him. Now he's going to get called for a hold, but he does a good job of now kind of re-anchoring himself and staying on the track of the defensive end and pushing him out of the way. Okay, I get it's a hold, but there's some good things to see there, all right? Here it is again. Get it inside. The play broke out, so now the running back has to cut back. Not his fault, okay, but that's, it is what it is, all right? Here we go. Matt Peart again. He's going to reach the defensive end. Again, run the feet, Matt. Run the feet. I know you're on the backside of the play, okay? It's a stalemate, but running the feet there is super important, okay? His job is really just to sustain the block and kind of base block him, right? But we want to just kind of see him still be a little bit more aggressive. Okay, because if they do, something else where the play has to come back to his side like the last play, we want to make sure that guy, again, is in the dirt, all right? All right, here we go. Matt Peart, nice pass set. Very good. Staying square to the line, not so great. Again, here we go with the stunt. So, good initial pass set. Very good. Stays vertical, stays square. Now they do a late stunt, okay? So that's really on the guard and the tackle here to pick that up. So that really is, that's the guard's guy, okay? So that's where the penetration comes from. But Matt could give a hand, and that means he has to know something else is coming, right? So give a hand, that's the guard's responsibility, okay? But they have to wall it off. Now he gets caught up because the guard doesn't do his job. Okay, that doesn't look good for Matt Peart. However, this is the guard, okay? Now he's caught chasing, but he does a good job of recovering. Okay, so it's a good job, staying square, guard's job. Now, again, his head kind of dips down here. You see that? So if he kept his eyes up, he would see, boom. Now, but he recovers because he's long, right? And he kind of does a little bit of a crossover step here, okay? So he does crossover, and he runs him to the boundary there, kind of a little bit. So that's actually a very good technique on a pass rusher, in a sense, that's going to come upfield, where you kind of flip the hips and then run them up the sideline. So it's good recovery, and actually looks like a bad job by Matt Peart here on the penetrator. However, it's actually the guard's fault, but it does kind of bode pretty badly for Matt Peart, but he does a good job in recovery. Okay, so there's that play. Here we go. We'll do one more time. Matt Peart, good pass set, nice hands, good. On a screen, just inviting the guy upfield, doing what he has to do, getting the hands inside, and that play is just a bad play for UConn football right there. Here we go. Pass set. Okay? Does a good job. It's a draw, so he does what he has to do there. Again, on the backside, very nice job. Very good job. And again, still look at that. He's sustaining his block all the way through, even if it's not relevant to the play. That's what I'd like to see, a little bit more consistency out of Matt Peart. Very good job, though. Here we go. Again, coming down. We have a double team here. Doesn't really get off of it. Now there's two guys on one. Again, busted play, though, for UConn. But let's go back and run it and see how Matt did here. Okay, so this is obviously a double team with the right guard here, him and his pal. Nice job, okay, getting on the hip. That's what we want. We want to dig the guy out. If you're on that backside of that defensive lineman, you want to dig him out with the hip to help your guard to push him off to the guard. One negative here, though, is he does put his head, okay, his helmet in the dirt a little too low. So now he kind of is not able to see, okay, this backer where he's supposed to come off. Okay, now the backer comes to that side. He's reading the power play there, okay? And so he flows that way. It's an RPO, okay? But however, Matt Peart really needs to come off of that, okay, on that double team. So good job digging the guy out, but now get off. Okay, get off. Here we go. Matt Peart just down blocking. Shows good explosiveness. Okay, shows good explosiveness here. Another bad play for UConn football. Not great. All right. Shows good mobility. Okay, good run in his feet. Get to the spot, and then just good tenacity there. I like what I see out of that. Shows good effort on all his blocks. Okay, another, like I said, bad play for UConn. Okay, here we go. Matt Peart once again, right tackle. Really not a great rep here. Really not good. Okay, bad feet. His guy ends up making a tackle. Olayed him, if you will. Okay, he takes a really poor step here. Okay, he guesses, right? There, the first step is mind, right? Mind, feet, hands, hips. Really bad step. He's thinking too much. Okay, he didn't attack. He didn't get off the ball. You see the guy, the defensive end there, he's already off the ball. Okay, he's already off the ball. Matt Peart isn't even out of his stance. Okay, he lunges at him. It's too late. Olay, boom, defensive end makes the tackle. Okay, it's bad rep there by Matt Peart. Didn't get out of his stance in time. Defensive end just beat him off the ball. Okay, again, nice job sitting down on that defensive tackle on the pass pro concept here. We'll run it back, play at full speed, but very nice job. Okay, drops the post, very nice, and just sustains the block. Those long arms are really a benefit to Matt Peart. Very good job. When he gets his hands on you, it's hard to get off of it, and that's what I really enjoy about Matt Peart. Again, nice job. Okay, kind of just sift blocking, making sure the guy doesn't come inside. All right, one negative here, though. He takes an angle, okay, that's good, but look at his hands now. Too wide, okay, too wide. Now he leaves that edge, for that defender to come upfield if he really would like, to then bend back in, okay? And you see it, the defensive end kind of can get back into play, okay, if he bends a little bit more. But Matt Peart takes an angle here with his arms out that now invites the shoulder, okay, invites the shoulder of the rusher. The rusher can now flip his hips and bend to this run play. Okay, so he left this open. He needs to stay a little bit more square, okay, to the line, and then not drop his back foot there. Okay, that's what opened up his shoulders, all right? So here we go. Next play, we're going to run it, all right? Good job. Okay, good job on the pull here by Matt Peart. Very good. Here we go. We'll run it back. Okay. So he pulls. He gets out. Very nice. He's got to wait for his guard. Good. Now sinks the hips. See, he lunges here a little bit. He's got to sink the hips. Stay there. Okay, sink the hips. Okay, roll back. Now roll the hips through, okay? Stays on him with those long arms, though. Okay, some NFL defenders are going to be able to shed this, all right? So again, coming through, I'd like to see him re-sink the hips, shoot the hands. See, again, the hands are out wide. Shoot the hands inside, but he does a good job. Play that upfield shoulder, okay? Play that upfield shoulder. Okay, the left shoulder here of the defender needs to be, okay, where his aiming point is, and his hat is on the other side, okay? Get that head around, get that play side number, and you could work it towards the sideline. Be a little bit better. Not a bad job, but again, in the NFL, that's something he's going to need to work on. Play that play side number there, okay? Here it is from another angle, full speed. Okay, decent job. I would just like it a little bit more on that upfield play side number, all right? Here we go, pass set. Very nice, very nice. Again, a little high, okay? So he kind of gets a little bit pulled with a little bit of a bull here, but he's still able, he's strong, those long arms to create some separation. Okay, that was pretty good though. Not a bad rep. All right. Here we go now. Good, coming down. Good on the hip, and the quarterback reads it. An aggressive defensive line. Very nice. Okay, very good job in the aggression category there for me. I like that. I like his tenacity there, okay? One thing I didn't like, is he has a good first step here, okay? Does a good job, but now the defensive lineman does have some penetration here, okay? He's able to sustain it because he walls him off, all right? So if he actually loses ground to gain ground here and takes a path that's actually headed for the nose guard, okay, rather than his man, if he takes that path, he's able to cut him off. And again, his hat placement is on the wrong side. So if his hat placement is on the left side of this defender here, he's able to get an even better block, and there's no penetration, all right? If he aims for that middle sternum chest plate, right, that's where his aiming point should be, okay? Instead, what Matt Peart does is he comes down and he just kind of gets on the hip, okay, first, and then the shoulder pad, okay, the left shoulder pad, where he needs to kind of get inside. But it's still a good read. It's what it's designed to do. But I think that there's a little bit more of improvement that could be done from Matt Peart. But what I'm seeing here, guys, is we're seeing him get away with some okay blocks, right? And once his technique improves, okay, when you have a good offensive line coach like Mark Colombo, which he will in the NFL, okay, that's going to improve. All right, that's going to definitely improve. For the New York Giants, guys, it's all about fine-tuning this skill for Matt Peart. Tremendous upside with this athlete, okay? And I really do believe that the bust potential really isn't that high for him either. I think he's going to end up being a pretty decent NFL starter, okay? When it's all said and done, he's got to work out just some of those kinks, and I think he's going to be fine, guys. All right, so again, you see the good mobility, but here we go. He kind of stops his feet, all right? And then he runs it again, so that's good. Okay, let's run this back. Okay, so you see the pull here. We're going to see the pull here, okay, and that's very good. It shows his mobility, okay, his athleticism. Very good job getting out, okay. His guard is slow. See, he does a good job here on the guard, okay, but he's got to read the guard's block and kind of get outside, strike the hip of the guard, because now look where he's supposed to be. He gets to where he's supposed to be, but it's too late, okay. So he gets to this spot too late. He's supposed to come off the left side of the hip and strike the match, as they say, like you're striking a match off the guy's hip. Okay, and then he would have been right there for that linebacker, and then the running back could have bounced it. But nice job getting on the guy and then finishing, putting him in the dirt. I like the tenacity. Very good. All right, but I just like to see him on the pull, get around that block, and get on that linebacker a little sooner. All right, here we go. He's down. Good job. Good seal. And the running back had really nowhere to go because the offensive line didn't get much of a push there, and they created a bit of a hole. But still good job by Matt Peart. Okay? Here we go. Pass set. Okay? Again, bringing his feet a little bit together here. All right? Bringing his feet a little bit together. I'd rather see him set a little bit more vertical here than horizontal. Okay? Shows the chest. Gets his hand inside, but now he's kind of leaning. Okay? He's kind of leaning on the guy here. You see the lean? All right, now he kind of gets bowled back because his stance is a little bit off. He's leaning, okay? Hands are a bit outside. So it was a good initial set, although I'd prefer it vertical, okay? His hands, they kind of lean on each other. The defender kind of pulls a touch and a little bit of a bull. So that's what kind of gets Matt Peart a little bit upright, okay? And that's why I'm saying I think he needs to play with a little bit more of a lower pad level, and I'd like to see him hop back here. So he does a good job re-anchoring himself. Okay, but now reset the hands and, be able to get it inside the chest plate so he's not off balance. But again, his athleticism makes up for a lot of this. Here it is again. Sit, good hop, reset the hips, and that's what he does. When he finally resets the hips there, guys, that's when he's able to then re-anchor and control that block, okay? Here we go. Matt Peart once again, coming down. Okay, good job of sustaining, very good. Okay, we're going to run this back because I want to make a point to you guys, and I want you to see this. Okay, here we go. So he comes down. He's on the play side shoulder, guys. Play side shoulder. That defender has nowhere to go. Okay, that's the positive. That's the positive, okay? I like that. Here we go. We'll run it back one more time, and I'll show you the negative. Okay, the negative is he gets there. Now run the feet, man. Drive the feet. I don't know why you're side shuffling. I really don't. I get you have the angle here, all right? But now drive him into the dirt, man. Drive him into the dirt. You have the angle, run the feet. All right, run the feet. Okay, that's the negative about that. All right. We'll do a couple more plays here. All right. So here he is, Matt Peart, right tackle, pass set. All right. Good initial set. Okay. Gives up the edge. But very good recovery. Very good recovery. Okay. But however, in the NFL, not going to get away with it. How did he give up the edge? Okay. Right there. He lunges for the guy again. Okay. Lunges. And his hand placement is on the hip and the shoulder pad, okay? Not great. All right, we need it in the chest. We need it in the chest plate. However, okay, he's able to, what he does is he turns and then he runs the guy upfield, okay? He does a lot of shield blocking, I like to call it, so he kind of just uses his frame as a shield, and he's able to get away with that, all right? I know he's a little bit raw, okay? But that's going to be coachable in the NFL, all right? That's going to be coachable. What I would like to have seen here is, again, a little bit more of a vertical kick, especially against these speed rushers in the NFL. He's going to have to get used to that, okay? Don't lean right there, okay? That's going to be the problem for Matt Peart, okay? Again, good recovery, though, and running him to the sideline. Man, this UConn football team is pretty bad. Not great to watch, folks. All right, here we go. Let's run it back. All right, here it is. Again, gets that edge, but he did good recovery. Okay, good recovery. Decent footwork. Here we go. One more play. Again, what he does best, okay? Gets out in space, uses his athleticism. All right, here he is. Coming through, pulling. Okay? Again, very good job. See how he runs the feet here, guys? He runs the feet. Okay, I know it's a double team, but look what he's doing. He's taking this guy, and he's taking him to the sideline. So, again, here's the difference, guys. When Matt Peart runs his feet, okay, and does what he has to do, he's a damn good blocker, okay? Here, gets on him. Okay, run the feet. Running the feet. Again, I understand it's a double team, so there's more movement here. But he's running the feet, okay? And that's something that we've seen in this game, right, as we're breaking this down, he struggled with, okay? But again, gets inside, gets good leverage here, okay? One more thing, though. Again, he's leaning again. He's leaning. Push the head back, roll the hips. Push the head back, roll the hips. Boom, that guy's in the dirt, okay? But anyway, so that's Matt Peart, all right, for you guys, for the Giants. Really exciting prospect. I really enjoy watching his film. I think Mark Colombo, Jason Garrett, Joe Judge are going to have a field day with this guy in the next few years. And I really do believe he's going to be one of the tackles of the future along with Andrew Thomas. I think he is the guy. So I have to be honest with you guys. I like what I've seen. I think there's enough here that they're going to be able to work with him. At worst, he's a swing tackle in his career. And at best, I think he's definitely, a top tackle in the a starter level tackle. So he's not going to be making Pro Bowls, I don't believe, but you never know. He has the size, he has the athleticism, okay, he has the mobility. Not too much to work on. Little things which are coachable, okay? And with a good coach in Mark Colombo, that's going to get done. So that's exciting for the New York Giants, and they got a hell of a prospect here. Matt Peart, 99 overall, third round of the draft out of UConn. Thanks, guys.